All right, Joe Royer, tight end, Cincinnati Bearcats. Joe, what does it mean to be here representing Cincinnati in the Big 12?
Yeah, it's a great honor to be down here, represent the Bearcats for us, and it's a long day ahead, but I'm excited for it. Grateful to be here, and looking forward to talking to guys like yourself and all the media here.
Now, what gives you the belief that Cincinnati's closer than they were last year?
Yeah, so it just feels different when you're in the building and you're around guys, all day, pretty much every day. You can kind of feel what type of vibe that's being put off, and the vibe I've been getting from this team is we're all hungry. We want to work. We weren't far off last year, and I think myself included, everyone in that building, we all believe that, and we're ready to go show the world what the 25 Bearcats can look like.
Now, you began your college career at Ohio State, so you weren't with Cincinnati when they moved to the Big 12 a couple years ago. But what do you think that's done for the program?
Yeah, I think it was definitely the right move. They were competing at a very high level in the AAC, and I think we can get back to that in the Big 12. And that was part of the main reason, one of the reasons I came back to Cincinnati and stayed for another year. Is I want to get this university and this football team to what it's been in the past.
Yeah, and now you mentioned the university and the football team. We got a pretty good history of developing some tight ends.
Yeah.
Just when you think about that and you being the next guy, what does that mean to you?
It's a great honor. There's been so many countless guys: Travis Kelce, Josiah DeGuara, Josh Wiley, Brent Selleck. You name it. There's been a bunch of great tight ends that have gone through there, and just being another guy to that list, it means a lot. And I just want to represent it the right way.
What do you think it is about Cincinnati that brought all those guys to the program?
I just think the university is, I guess, a little bit known for loving and using the tight end. That's always a good thing. So, just gotta, when I'm gone, hopefully get some other guys in here and keep the tradition going.
Last year was your first full season as the starter. You ended up breaking Travis Kelce's receptions record. Just what goes through your mind when you hear your name mentioned in the same breath as one of the top tight ends in the game?
Coming into the year, I had no expectations for myself, or I wasn't really expecting anything. Just wanted to, really just have a healthy season and be able to go out there every Saturday for Cincinnati and just play. And then as the season started going on, and then I started to hear more about hey, you're on track to, beat Travis Kelce's record. It was a cool feeling, and I wasn't trying to pay too much attention to it. Get all nervous or something, stop dropping balls, but just try to stay level-headed, stay humble, and when I ended up beating it the last game of the season, it was a special moment. They made an announcement and put my picture up on the big screen and got a pretty good crowd cheer, so it was great day.
Now, you guys have a few transfers coming in, taking over those skills positions. How do you go about building chemistry with those guys and just making the offense click?
Yeah, so we obviously we do a lot of team activities, and then we're doing things on our own.
Yeah.
Brendan will get myself, the other tight ends, and receivers together, and we'll just throw. And I think it goes way beyond just football, really. Just building relationships with them as people. I will only make it better. So just getting to know these guys, know where they're from, learn about them, and it goes a long way.
Now, you mentioned Brendan. You're obviously one of his favorite targets now. What can you guys do to kind of step up to the next level and get even better?
Yeah, love Brendan, love him as a player as well. But there was some things we weren't great on last year. There were some things I could have done better, and not a knock on Brendan. He'll tell you as well. There were some things he could have done better. But just just working together every day, trying to get on the same page, trying to see what he sees. He's trying to see what I see and think what we both think, and just really get better. And I think we can take a big step this year, and sky's the limit.
Yeah, coming into last year, how was the process of building the chemistry with him? How did that?
Yeah, I mean, as a person relationship, we hit it off day one. So he was one of the main guys I was hanging out with, when I first got to UC. So that was great, and then just through reps, really. I got there in the winter, so luckily I had winter, spring ball, and then fall camp and everything, opposed to coming in the summer and just having the summer. So just getting reps and then talking with him if we miss a play, or I don't get my depth on a certain route, or I sit in a zone that maybe he wanted me to keep going a little bit or something. So just trying to pick each other's brains a little bit and try to understand. And I always say there's one page, and that's the quarterback's page. So really trying to figure out what he wants to do.
You guys, I believe it's your season openers in Kansas City at the NFL Arrowhead. What does playing in such an iconic NFL stadium, or really any NFL stadium, do for you, and kind of what does it do to get you hyped up like this?
Yeah, couldn't think of a better way to start the season off. Playing Nebraska. Week 0 technically, or week 1, out in Arrowhead. So it'll be a great experience, and playing at a place like Arrowhead and the success that Kansas City has had the last couple of years. It's gonna. I know I'm fired up about it. I know the guys are fired up about it. So it'll be a cool experience.
Arizona State ended up winning the conference last year, going to the college football playoff. They were picked to finish, I think, last in the conference going into that. So, since you guys were near the bottom of the conference last year, what gives you, or does that added motivation to kind of know that you can jump up that far in the standings going in?
Yeah, definitely a motivational factor. But like you said, they're picked last. They end up winning the conference. They're playing in the CFP. But Big 12 is a crazy conference. I think every team's good. Anything can happen on any given day. So just trying to put our best foot forward, and every Saturday when we go out there, just try to play our game, and the rest will take care of itself.